Hello and welcome to Ryno's Ravens Review. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. We're going to review, debating on whether to call this a review show or a preview. So am I reviewing the off-season, preseason training camp, or am I previewing the start of the season? Whichever, I guess, technically. We're wrapping up the final roster. It was a big news that came out, the final 53-man roster, or at least again after training camp, and you have so many players in, trying to see who can make your team. And obviously there will be injuries throughout the season, and the 53-man roster will change. So let's get right to it. You see them all at BaltimoreRavens.com. I chose this form. I do have the depth chart open somewhere. I was thinking either going through the depth chart or this option, a news article, or I guess a news post on the Ravens website about their 53-man roster. They had a few forms of it as, let's say, a clickable slideshow kind of thing, or a straight grid where you see a bunch of pictures, or the one I selected, and it's a scroll. It's a full page. I scroll through the pictures. So, that's relatively new to at least one of my shows. Let's starting off with, of course, probably the most important player, Lamar Jackson. Relatively obvious now. Some news came out a few days ago. Jackson was stepped on in one of the games or practices out there. You can see the article here written by Ryan Mink. He wrote this article the 25th, which was a few days ago. Now, everybody's wondering, oh, man, he's stepping on Lamar's foot. Probably not a good thing. Especially as much as he likes to move around. But, supposedly, and I do have a few notes here, just try to help myself, because I don't want to go through the entire article and just paraphrase somebody's work. And then maybe you go and read the whole article if you find it interesting enough. Stepped on, Lamar should be fine. They did x-rays. They did not show any kind of break. Okay, cool. Well, it's debatable if it's news or not, but I guess it is. Number 2 here, your number 2 quarterback, Cooper Rush, brought in the offseason. Relatively cheap deal as far as I'm concerned, looking it up on Spotrac.com. $6.2 million over, $6.2 million over 2 years seems really cheap. For a backup quarterback, yeah, that seems pretty cheap to me. But you're probably, at least what people are thinking, I'm sure, is you get what you pay for. Cheap backup quarterback, well, he's going to be definitely not as good. But Ravens got to save money somewhere. Moving on to running backs, Derrick Henry. Some of these guys have some news to talk about. Some of them really don't. A lot of these names you're going to recognize. A lot of them, some of them may not. Derrick Henry, Justice Hill, Keaton Mitchell. Rasheen Ali made the running backs room. Keaton Mitchell looks to be going into this season much more healthier than he did last season. Remember, what was it? I guess 23. He messed up his knee. Missed most of 24, though he did play a few games. We look to see him get more reps this year. All right, moving on to the wide receivers. They stopped at the backfield. They could have gone with Pat Ricard here, but it's fine. Oh, and before I forget to mention, even though I already forgot to mention, these photos are courtesy of Sean Hubbard. And I guess a link here is / Baltimore Ravens photos. It's more the photo department than, I guess, the news department or the video department or the team department or what have you. Zay Flowers, wide receiver, Rashad Bateman, DeAndre Hopkins. If you remember a few years ago when Lamar was going through his contract negotiations, mentioned that he wanted some weapons, and what am I doing here? I wanted the center of the picture. There you go. A few of the weapons that he wanted to work with at wide receiver, one of them was Odell Beckham Jr., the other was DeAndre Hopkins. Well, the Ravens experimented with Odell Beckham Jr., 1 year, $15 million contract, which, yeah, was not worth it at all. I'm sorry, but it just wasn't. I don't know whether Odell Beckham Jr. is just he's done playing, and not necessarily saying stop playing football, but as far as being being the good version of Odell Beckham Jr., I don't know if he's necessarily done at that, but because he was coming off an MCL or ACL injury, he really did not get our money's worth out of that. I'm sorry. And now the DeAndre Hopkins deal is, according to the notes, according to Spotrac, $5 million plus incentives, which seems really low. And looking at the total of those incentives, it wasn't even going to be over $10 million. So it's interesting that you got DeAndre Hopkins a little cheaper, but happens on occasion. It does. We'll see if this DeAndre Hopkins experiment turns out a little better than the Odell Beckham Jr. experiment. Hopefully it does. Some of the younger names you're going to recognize here: Tylan Wallace, he's back. Devontae Walker, making the team out of spring training, but it's not out of spring training. Training camp. Did have a touchdown last year, got it on a few snaps. Mainly a practice squad guy. Now he's getting a real shot. All right, let's see what he can do. Got a Jonathan Wester, according to my notes, where Wester was drafted this past off-season. Moving on, tight ends, Mark Andrews still here. Everybody thought that he might get traded because, well, apparently he dropped the ball too damn much in that playoff game, so people wanted him gone. Okay, fine. Well, they didn't trade him. Now this is a contract year. It's a contract year for all the tight ends, right? For Andrews, Likely, and Kohler, which is somewhat interesting. And spoiler alert, Isaiah Likely, Charlie Kohler are the other three tight ends. Isaiah Likely, yes, does have a foot injury. Where is it? Right here. This article here, also written by Ryan Mink. This was written more than a week ago, talking about Isaiah Likely. He's had the surgery. Everything seems to be going, at least as of this article, everything was going fine. I haven't seen anything that says otherwise. Will likely be ready for opening day. Or whatever. What do we call it in football? Do we call it opening day? Week 1, I guess, right? Got baseball on the brain, even though the Orioles are terrible. It is likely that Likely will be ready for week 1. I just used the word likely in there just, for puns. I don't even know if it's likely. I guess based on what I've read, it's about a 50-50 shot. He certainly has the potential for Likely to be ready for week 1. Will he? Somewhat tough to say at this point. I mean, we're still more than a week away. Get back to it. There's Kohler. Oh, look, here's Ricard all the way down here. Yeah, I don't understand why they didn't just finish off the backfield, all of the backfield at the same time. But they didn't. Oh well. Ricard is still here. Moving on to offensive linemen. The first 5 are going to be the starters. You're going to have Ronnie Stanley at left tackle. Andrew Voorhees won the job against Ben Cleveland for left tackle. Remember last year, Voorhees started at left guard. I'm sorry, did I say guard? Did I say left tackle again? Left guard. Andrew Voorhees, left guard. He did start the year as left guard last year, but with the way things were going, they ended up putting McCary in there to play left guard more full time. Rosa Gardner played right tackle. McCary was a big swing guy for the past several years as a Baltimore Raven. Is no longer a Baltimore Raven. Jacksonville Jaguars, if I'm not mistaken. It's going to be a huge loss. But we shall see if another year of Voorhees, if he does a little better this time around. Linderbaum center, Falele. Still with the Falele experiment. Though, I mean, he does fine. I mean, he's big as shit. So run blocking, yeah, he's a real good run blocker. I don't know that he necessarily moves swiftly enough to be a good pass blocker. We'll see, though. He's an interior offensive lineman. It's not that necessary for them to be good pass blockers because they typically will get a little bit of more help. And Rosa Garden, right tackle. Some of the backups here. Joseph Noteboom. Again, looking at the notes, it's a free agent acquisition. He does have some versatility, so he can slide into that McCarry role of being a swing guy. Can play some tackle, play some guard, and whatnot. Hopefully, we don't see him too much. Cross fingers. Ben Cleveland, as I mentioned, lost the starting guard job. He's been in the organization for a while. Somewhat surprising that he couldn't win out, but it is what it is. He's really tall and can actually put a little bit good pressure on field goal blocks, so we might see him get in there. Didn't we see him block one last year? Either last year or the year before he blocked one, but he has a knack for that. He's done it in college. Brought it to the NFL a little bit. Here you have Corey Bullock, guard center type guy. He was was he a draft pick last year? Where is it? Undrafted free agent last year. Making a team this year. Good for him. A lot of depth on the offensive line. I didn't really think that they would carry 4 extra offensive linemen, but they are. And you have Carson Vincent, who was drafted this past offseason, making a team out of training camp. I still want to say spring training, but that's not how it goes. Talking about that, let's go back to this article here. This one that I've mentioned that Ryan Mink already when I referred to the Isaiah Likely thing. Emory Jones Jr., somebody that could have made the team, but did suffer an injury, a shoulder injury that the Ravens knew when they drafted him, which he was a draft pick this past draft. Now, when he gets healthy, is he going to slot in for for Vincent or Bullock or anybody? Don't know. He'll probably stick on the practice squad for a bit, but to a certain extent, it's almost lucky that he did get injured because the Ravens can keep a few more extra offensive linemen, I guess, technically. Moving on to the defense, Nnamdi Madubuike still around. He got that big contract a year or so ago. Travis Jones still here. Going to be more of a nose tackle and give Madubuike on the outside a bit. Somebody Ravens signed in free agency this past year to replace Michael Pierce, who officially retired. Big middle of the line guy, nose tackle John Jenkins. Again, signed as a free agent this offseason. Aeneas Peoples, listing him here as defensive lineman. Can play a little bit of both, interior, exterior. He was drafted. Oh, I didn't write that down. Shit. I'm about 95% certain that Aeneas Peoples was drafted this last year. That's when I missed. My bad. Roderick Washington Jr., he's still around. Good for him. Dafe Owe still here. Really hope we see more production out of Owe. Need more sacks. More sacks. No. You have not gotten enough sacks. We need more. I like quarterbacks hitting dirt. We all do. We love defense here in Baltimore. We need more pressure. I'm somewhat annoyed that they didn't really address that in the offseason. Not addressed at all. I mean, you got Jenkins. That was it. Okay, cool. Kyle Van Noy still here. Good for him. Tavius Robinson, who I guess I always figured was more of an exterior defensive lineman, but here they're listing him as linebacker. Okay, that's fine. Do your thing. Mike Green, draft pick this past year, is more of a pass rusher kind of guy. David Ajabo, still around. I mean, some of these guys, like say an Owe or an Ajabo, they're relatively cheap. And they're either on their rookie contract still, or they just haven't performed that well to get a high dollar value. We'll see if we see Ajabo at all. I feel like he was healthy most of, if not all of last year, and he just wasn't there. Like he wasn't in the game. Or he was injured again, which isn't good. It's not a good thing at all. Roquan Smith still around, inside linebacker. Trent Simpson, he's feeling like he's going to have a better year. We'll see. They did have a few exits in the linebacking core like Chris Board's gone, like Harrison gone. Happens. Excuse me. People like a Trenton Simpson need to step it up. In my opinion, Trenton Simpson is a little, I don't want to say undersized, more speed focused than power focused as an inside linebacker. So it can help you in pass coverage, but in run defense, somewhat tougher. A new addition here, Jake Hummel, free agent in this offseason, more of a special teams specialist. Special teams tackling specialist. More specialist words there. Teddy Buchanan. Buchanan was, son of a bitch. He must have been drafted. Then that's why I left a few of those names off, because they were drafted, right? Shit. Cannon should be drafted. Should have been drafted this past year. I can look that up real quick, I think. I'm not spelling this correctly at all. What do we got here? Yes, drafted. And that's why I didn't put them on the list. If they're not on the list, they were drafted in 2025. Probably should have made a note of that, but I didn't. Because, I didn't. Oh well, my bad. Jay Higgins, the fourth inside linebacker. He was one of the 3 undrafted free agents that made the team this year, which the Ravens have done a lot. They have kept a lot of, maybe not a lot, over the years. They're one of the most noteworthy teams that keeps at least one undrafted free agent. Higgins being one of them. This year there were 3. 2 others are defensive backs. Speaking of defensive backs, Marlon Humphrey still here. Nate Wiggins still here. Jair Alexander, free agent acquisition. I did not get his contract numbers. Annoying, but oh well, it's not too important. But he does. It's tough to say how the Ravens will actually run their defense. Will Humphrey be on the outside, or will Alexander be on the outside more? Oh, and that's right. Alexander had a knee issue. Because even in the past, with some of the other cornerbacks they brought in, they kept Humphrey on the inside as more of a slot nickel type cornerback. The nickel jack position that I like to call it. Which article was this? Would be the second one. This article here by Clifton Brown, BaltimoreRavens.com staff writer, talking about at least one of the issues here. Alexander and his knee issue. Now, he had surgery, late December of last year. So, he should be fully recovered from the surgery. It's just some kind of it wasn't really specified exactly what's going on with his knee. Is it just nagging pain? Is it actually something wrong? But he should be ready for week 1 is what they're saying. Okay. That's fine. I mean, you guys usually keep injuries close to the vest, which is fine. Another cornerback they brought in this year. I'll try not to butcher this name all year. Hopefully, I will get it right at some point. Jadobe Azue. Playing some cornerback. Yeah, that's a Eric DeCosta special right here. Getting a lot of defensive backs. I certainly understand the theory there. But at the same time, to completely ignore your pass rush department is, in my opinion, irresponsible. Especially when you think about it like this. If you can put pressure on quarterbacks, that will help your coverage. That'll help your cornerbacks because they don't have to cover as long. Now, at the same time, the era of the more athletic quarterback that can roll out of the pocket and run away from defenders, yeah, it's here. And it's just getting started. But again, You want to knock them off their spot. You don't want them to just sit there back in the pocket uncontested. Gotta stop ignoring the pass rush. But however, TJ Tampa was drafted, was it last year or the year before? It was last year. It was last year he was in 2024 draft. Looks okay. I mean, he's not lighting the world on fire. Not that Nate Wiggins is either, but very serviceable depth piece. Here we have Mr. Keon Martin at cornerback. He is one of the undrafted free agents the Ravens are keeping around, at least to start. Kyle Hamilton's still here, just got him a big, nice contract. Highest paid safety, at least as of when they signed it, I'm sure. Somewhere soon or soon, another safety will sign a contract and it'll be more than Kyle Hamilton's because that's just the way it goes. This guy made this much money, I deserve more. Okay. However, Malachi Starks, first round draft pick from this past draft, 2025. We'll see how that goes from what we're hearing in training camp and from other players and such. He's a day one starter. He understands the defense. He understands football. Good. Because it kind of hurts that Darius Washington messed up his Achilles in an off-season workout. Yeah. We think we might see Darius Washington this year, but we don't know. So I guess it's really a good thing that DeCosta drafted Starks, isn't it? And say, we're going to go with 3 safeties, man. What the heck? Yeah, well, this is why DeCosta goes for depth in his secondary. It makes sense. I'm not saying that it doesn't make sense. I just wish they would put a little more pressure on the quarterback. Let's get some more guys in there. Hopefully, some of the people that they have in-house, like a Robinson and Washington and maybe Mike Green, the recent draft pick, maybe they can do their job a little bit better this year. I want more sacks. No, not enough. More. Sanusi, is it Sanusi or Sanusi? I think it's Sanusi. Sanusi Kane, safety drafted last year. Played a lot on special teams. Seems to be pretty good at that department. Sort of being on the field as a safety didn't happen that often. And here you go, the final undrafted free agent, Ruben Lowry. Yes, Ruben Lowry the third. This one doesn't have the third on here. Rounding out the secondary, I know I missed it. Somebody else is getting credit for a photo here. Where the hell was it? Most of these photos were Sam Hubbard. There were 1 or 2 of them that was somebody else. Joey Pallone, also doing some camera work here for Baltimore Ravens in their photo department. All right, so let's get to the final 3 members. It's going to be the 3 special team specialists. Tyler Loop drafted this past offseason to replace Dustin Tucker. Yeah, he looks fine. It looks like the Ravens special teams department did their due diligence and found themselves a good kicker. Okay. So we'll see how long this one lasts. Jordan Stout's still the punter, and Mr. Nick Moore is the long snapper. Yay. Hey, we're done. How about that? Good job, everybody. Oh, someone longer than a video than I would have liked. But that is what it is. Went through the whole roster. It's tough to say my take of this whole offseason. It's just, I don't see a lot of change. So how can we expect things to not play out the same way? What's one of the big changes? Well, instead of Nelson Aguilar, we had DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah, I mean, that'll be fine, right? It's not like the Ravens throw the ball that much anyway. So, should be okay. And Voorhees in there at left guard instead of Patrick McCurry. That, I think, it's tough to say. It really is tough to say because it does depend on how the rest of them perform. You got another year for Tyler Linderbaum, another year for Roger Rosengarten, another year of Falele. So I feel like the right side of the line should be relatively set. The left side, I don't know. Stanley, another year, as in another year older, because he's the old man on the offensive line. Not that he's really that old. It's just maybe he's old for football. He did real well last year. He's had a relatively injury-plagued career. Now, he looked pretty good last year. Hopefully that can continue. Hopefully he can help Voorhees get reacclimated to the starting left guard role and actually perform well. This is somewhat worrisome there. The line, I really don't think they address the defensive front enough. Now, we'll see. I mean, again, another year for some of these younger guys learning how to do their jobs, like, say, Atavius Robinson, who looks like he has the potential to do something. Hopefully he can turn a corner and do even better than he's been doing. He had several sacks last year. Hopefully he gets a lot more. Mike Green, big draft pick. They've been spending draft picks on pass rushers. Oh, I wanted to mention Adisa Isaac. Adisa Isaac, a pass rusher, outside linebacker that they drafted last year. Is in this article here written by Ryan Make. Had a dislocated elbow. Yeah, maybe we'll see him mid-season. That sucks. Because they've been trying to draft outside linemen, outside linebackers to blitz, put pressure on quarterbacks, and it really hasn't been working out that well. Owe, Ajabo, Isaac, now Mike Green. For one reason or another, we just haven't seen that much production out of them. Injuries have hurt. Fighting for playing time, that's another thing, because it's a passing league now. A lot of the base defense is nickel. So there's only room for 6 in a box. And in some cases, sometimes it'll be less. So it makes it kind of harder, because you kind of got to get the same amount of pressure with less dudes, or blitz some of your defensive backs, which the Ravens do, and that's fine, that's great. I would rather them be able to do something with pressure with just their defensive front, because then you don't have to take away from the coverage. But I mean, I'm asking for a Max Crosby or a Hayden Hutchinson or Reggie White or somebody to come walking through the door, but it just ain't going to happen. Some of those talents only happen once in a generation, and the Ravens just ain't got it. The defensive secondary, is going to hurt not having Ardarius Washington, but you know what? I feel like what everybody's saying about Malachi Starks is different than, who is it? Was it Matt Elam? When they drafted Matt Elam, he was a little shaky. Malachi Starks could slot in real well, especially you already have Hamilton, you already have Humphrey, you already have Nate Wiggins, who looked fairly well in his rookie season. Now, another year under him. I think as long as they can stay healthy, I think the defensive backs are going to be okay. And you can tell that is one of the areas that Eric DeCosta focuses on, which is fine. I want to see him hitting quarterbacks more. That's just me. And hopefully we'll have some better production from the kicking game, because last year it did not go well. Hopefully that changes. Alright, let's get the schedule, wrap this shit up, get out of here. Oh well. It is what it is. Knocking the rust off for Ravens stuff this year, I guess, huh? I usually try to go a little quicker than that. And we're still more than a week away from kickoff. As you can see here, week 1 is going to be September 1st, at least for the Baltimore Ravens. That is their first game. It's going to be an 8 p.m. game Sunday night football. Hey, how about that? Back into Buffalo. It's going to be an interesting one. Yeah. Going for those 2-point conversions hurt, because if you kick the extra point, that's 2 points, and you missed both of those 2-point tries. Being able to kick the extra point there might have been the way to go. But kicking game was a little shaky. It does seem like that's going to be a big change from last year. One of the big changes. Kicker. Really? Wow. Well, it is called football. That's going to do it for this edition of Ryno's Ravens review. Please stay tuned September 6th for a Ryno's Ravens preview, and I will preview the game between the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I am the Angry Ryno. Dive in, Ravens.